This is going to be the start of a more passionate video. Maybe not the right word, more passionate. But this is going to be more along the lines of things that I would like to talk about, things that I want to talk about. See, because I am going to speak with great passion. It's just this passion is going to be placed differently than the last multiple videos I've had to put up, which goes to right place, right time, right verbiage, right thing to say here, right thing to say there, which can all be different depending on the circumstances. That's going to be very important over the series of these videos, which I think I'm going to title them an old wrestling saying: if it doesn't make sense, it doesn't make dollars. Again, that will all make sense to you. But before I go on, these videos are really important because wrestling is very important to me. As a matter of fact, I would go to say that there's nothing else in this world that's as important or that I love more other than my son. If you were to make me make a list of things I love in this life, Jax would be number one and wrestling would be number two. I was born in 1986, and the first live wrestling memory I have is from 1989. I was a baby still. And it was Dusty Rhodes versus Big Boss Man in the old blue steel cage in the Civic Auditorium, Oshawa. And I remember that as a 3-year-old. And I never looked back. You know, it's cute when a new class starts in kindergarten and the teacher will ask, what do you want to be when you grow up? And you hear princess, firefighter, police officer. Well, even back then, I said professional wrestler. Not only do I love it, it's all I know. I started training when I was 14, had my first match when I was 14, my first match outside of the school when I was 15, and it's been all I know. It's how I support my number one love, which is my son. So I hope throughout these videos you see my passion and you see why my only option was to sue Impact Wrestling, to get everything that I had to go through over the last year and a half out in the open. Why I was truly thinking about ending my life. It's all going to come out because I can say whatever I want to say, but there has to be proof to back it up. And that's why I'm so excited about this video, is because I'm hoping to uplift some people. I'm hoping that current wrestlers, current fans, some of the older wrestlers in the older generation will watch this and see what I have to offer and see how I explain things. I think that wrestling fandom gets caught up. You know, we're the best generation and the generation before us is no good. And both sides make this happen because the older generation will tell us that we don't know anything, which puts our back against the corner, and then we're defensive and we say, no, you don't know anything. And the truth is, I think nobody truly knows anything. And that's the beauty about professional wrestling. That's why I love it so much, is because it's ever growing, it's ever evolving. And if you really want to be great, you have to learn from the time you start to the time you end. And I'm learning every day. You know, I'm not stupid. I know what's said about me. And I am very egotistical when it becomes about wrestling. I am. But there's a difference. See, I'm got an ego when I'm talking because I want somebody that might not have as much experience as me to pick up on what I'm saying, to hopefully either take bits and pieces of it, take the whole thing, whatever, maybe nothing, but maybe it's a valuable lesson for them. So if I'm speaking about wrestling, if I'm in a locker room, yeah, I'm egotistical about wrestling. But what people don't seem to understand is when I get in that ring, there is no ego. Because my goal is to have the best match possible. Now, an older generation is going to look at this and go, that isn't what sells tickets. It's this, it's that. But right now, by having a great match and making it all make sense, that is what people want to see. That's why AEW is doing so well. They have tremendous wrestlers, and they have a tremendous what pro wrestling in 2022 is supposed to feel like. It's athletic, it's fast paced, it's all these things. But the greats, the true greats, and if you really take the time to go watch a Kenny Omega or the Young Bucks, they are so great at using an old ideology with new movements. It's all there. Everything that people are saying, this is what made money from wrestlers back in my day, they're doing it. They're just doing it a way that fits in 2022 and what pro wrestling is. I think what the older generation, and as I said, some of the people that everybody hates, I have great respect for because they paved the road for me to be able to do this. But when you listen to them, you got to take what points fit now and what points don't. As I said, everybody wants to say that their generation is the best and the ones before them and the ones after them don't know anything, but it's ever evolving. Think about a car. Think about homes. Think about the toys that your children are playing with. They've all evolved. Things that we used to love and enjoy aren't the things that young people enjoying anymore. If you go put on a very, very old cartoon and then put on the remake of 2015 or greater, the kids are normally going to say, I like this new one, just because everything's evolving around us and wrestling has had to. So that is how I see pro wrestling. You have to take from each generation, because if the generation before us didn't know what they were doing, then how are we still having this platform? Now, if we don't know what we're talking about, how does the next generation have that platform? Because we got to take the pieces that matter. And what I often hear the most when any of the older generation critiques newer wrestling, they say how it's moving too fast, they're doing too much, right? But the one big thing that bugs me is, why would you hit somebody with a big move just to then win it with a roll-up, or for it to end with a roll-up? So we have two scenarios here, and I'm going to go through them. And before I go through them, I want everybody watching this to understand pro wrestling is a team effort, which goes back to when I get in the ring, there is no ego, because it's a team effort to make sure each other's are safe, to make sure we have the best match possible so people are talking about it moving forward. And that's very important. In 2012, without the match with Davey Richards, I don't think I would have been afforded the career I had, because that match was memorable to people. So I was constantly talked about as being a good wrestler, which got me more bookings, more money. See, it's a trickle effect. So yes, my goal by having good matches is to still make the most money possible. All a trickle effect. We have to take the pieces that matter. Yes, that's how you sell tickets, but how do you sell tickets now? This is how we sell tickets. But that is said about these, so remember, why would you hit somebody with that big move and have them kick out to win with a roll-up? So scenario number one, the team effort. Our body language needs to show it. Our facial expressions need to show it. We have to make sure that the camera's seeing it so that people at home can feel it. And I think sometimes that is what's missing. Sometimes what's missing is the exact body language and exact facial expression and exact timing you're looking at the camera, and how you're producing it to the people that aren't live in the building can understand these frustrations, because these frustrations add to the spot. So this spot, if I'm the heel and I give somebody a power bomb off the second rope, that's a big move. In the confines of anywhere in pro wrestling, no matter what age, that's a gigantic move. But if I'm giving that to the babyface and I'm pinging him and he kicks out, why is he kicking out? Well, he doesn't want to lose, which goes back to the tale of you want to win and you don't want to lose. And in normal life, there's instances that might hurt or even maim somebody and not another person or not another scenario. We hear about these things, so it's not out of the realm of possibility that somebody could want to win so bad that they kick out of this big move. Now, I often see an old spot where the wrestler would go pin his opponent, 1-2 kick out. Then he'd hook a leg and pin him, 1-2 kick out. Then hook two legs and pin him, 1-2 kick out. Now, you know that the third pin is not going to beat him, but you're hoping to tire him out, because the more force you put on the pin, the more force he uses or she uses to kick out of that, and then it goes on and goes on. So that would tire out the opponent. So that move plus a big kick out, now my babyface is really tired. So his body language shows that, but if I can't believe that he kicked out of it, my body language and my facial expression has to show that I cannot believe he just kicked out of that. So I get frustrated. Now think if you're doing something that you do all the time, that you beat somebody with all the time. If you're bowling and you're usually a 300-point game person, and now all of a sudden you bowl 200, you're going to get frustrated, but I always get 300. See? So if my body language is showing the frustration of this guy kicking out of a move that I can't believe, he's showing that he's dead tired now, that he not only took that move and kicked out, but the kick out, he had to use so much force to kick out, he's now more tired. But the frustration is building for me. So I'm racking my brain. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? Yeah, this is what I'm going to do. Now I'm going to kill him. And I go to pick him up. And I pick him up on my shoulder. And he falls in front of me and throws a head kick. Because he knows he's in so much danger. The last desperation thing is that head kick. But I am not as beat up as him. So I can duck it. Now, if you're trying to end a fight, you're going to put all your power into it. Again, the realism of this. If I'm going to kick somebody, I'm going to twist my hips and I'm going to throw enough force that I want to take his head off. So if he ducks, all that momentum is tiring me out. Well, I'm tired from that. I'm tired from the kick out. I'm tired for the move. And here's the roll up and he puts all of his body weight on me. 1, 2, 3. I see no problems with that if both sides are doing what they're supposed to do with their body language and their facial expressions. Now, let's go to where I'm the heel and I hit that big move and my baby face kicks out and then he catches me with the roll up. Again, it's up to me to show the body language and the facial expression of what I really feel in that moment. So we go back. I'm hitting this big move that I win with all the time, and there's no way he's going to kick out, and he kicks out. Now, I am so frustrated that I'm off my game that it allows me to get rolled up and allows him to roll me up. So as a heel, well, whatever the you want to say that cost that, it's my job post-match too, to put over that, yeah, that was a fluke. I mean, look at that big move. The second I hit him with something, he was going to lose. But I was so mad that he kicked out of that one and so frustrated that I beat myself by allowing me to get frustrated. I think I'm telling a story there. But again, that's our body language. That's our facial expressions. If we're clear with that, the commentator's clear with that. The commentator's clear with that. He tells the at-home audience that. They're seeing it. They're following it. Again, the camera's got to catch us. We got to make sure our body language and our facial expressions and our timing of the sell and when to rush and when not to rush matters. Which means the commentary can tell the people at home what we're doing and the camera's catching it. It's all working together. So I say when I'm in those ropes, there is no ego because I know it's my job to make my opponent's job easier, to make the commentary's job easier, to make the camera guy's job easier. So it's all just a flow, just flows. We hear, well, it's got a bad flow or that's a good flow to it. Because if it's going like this, it's smooth. Everybody's going to understand. But if it's up there and down, see my hand's going off the screen, you can't see it. So those two spots are totally acceptable in pro wrestling. But we as wrestlers have to do our best with our body language and our facial expressions so that the commentary can describe what they're seeing because they easily see it. The camera's catching it, they're easily seeing it. And now, what everybody says, if it doesn't make sense, it doesn't make dollars. Well, I think those things make sense, which means they can now make dollars. Thanks for watching.